Paisagens e Sabores, com Chris Freitas.
Cesário Ginjo é um empresário português que é reconhecido pelas suas várias empresas, tal como o 1-800-Flowers.com e o seu mais recente projeto, Sweetie Pie.
So at Grace and Harbert, there's this little called Bean and Baker coffee shop. I see a for sale sign. I said, you know what? Make an offer. Make a really low ball offer. So I'd offer them a really, like 25% what they were asking. So I wrote a check. I had a meeting with them and we settled on our original offer.
Abrindo o negócio na altura não foi simples, mas a sua preservação ajudou. No início, a venda de gelados foi a base do seu rendimento, mas em pouco tempo passou a ser reconhecido pelas suas tortas.
We did really well that summer. Luckily, Block TO did a write-up on us in late September. That hit online, and overnight we had lineups. People wanted to try our pies. And once they tried the pies, and it was gangbusters.
O que começou como tornou-se em 11 localizações durante o período de 3 anos, levando a Sweetie Pie para todos os cantos da cidade, incluindo o Distillery District.
I looked at and thought, this is very scalable. So we started looking for a second location. And then in March of 2021, we opened our second location in Queen West at Queen and Palmerston. And then once I had my wife convinced that a third was a possibility, that's it. The horses were out and I've been running. And then from then on, it's been pretty much every 3 months a location. And Sweetie Pie in the distillery was a very interesting build-up, where we were very limited in what we could do because it's historical buildings. A lot of the walls are still old brick, the floors are rustic looking, a lot of the columns with the old stone, we had to build around. In fact, you can't see it, but our counters are built around, they're all floating, and they're built around the stone.
Cesário imaginou a Sweetie Pie a ser mais do que um café, mas sim uma experiência única.
So I had a brand that I've always had, and I register names online all the time called Sweetie Pie. Right? So knowing the business, being in the flower business for many years, and knowing the business, sweets and gifts were always a good thing, two things that go hand in hand, right? So we knew that we didn't want to just be a bakery. So Sweetie Pie is a very niche, a big business. So we don't sell bread, we don't sell cake, which is a staple in most businesses, right? Especially in Portuguese businesses, right? It's all bread and cake. We're the opposite. So we specialize in pies, fruit pies, meat pies.
A tarte mais icônica do Sweetie Pie é o Butter Tart, uma tarte canadiana que é feita basicamente com açúcar castanho e farinha maisena. Esta tarte é a preferida de Cesário e foi a sua inspiração no projeto.
So before getting into the business, I love Butter Tarts. I thought Butter Tarts were everywhere. So I go find out that it's a Canadian treat. A Butter Tart is essentially like a little mini pecan pie without the pecans. Some people like raisins in them, some people don't. That's that big, divide. If you ask people raisins or no raisins, you get left and right. We make them traditional at Sweetie Pie, no raisins. The nuts and bolts of that Butter Tart, it's brown sugar, it's cornstarch or corn syrup, and that's it, really. And then it's the way you melt it, the temperature that you bring it out, and when you pour it into the shells. We have a unique way of creating and making our crust. So it's very airy, flaky, not heavy. So when you're eating one of our pastries, you're not only tasting dough, right? It's a good balance between the filling and the dough.
A parte desta tarte também se encontra várias tortas de frutas, incluindo alguns sabores clássicos como maçã, cereja e outros mais sazonais. Fiquei surpreendido ao saber que todas estas são completamente veganas.
2 years ago, Mark McEwen, he does an article and he did one on pies, and he had his producer go out and pick a bunch of pies, and he named our blueberry pie Best in Toronto. And then, we thought it was a great, and he's a chef, we got a chef a celebrity chef telling us that our pie is better than everybody else's, that's huge for us. We have our staple pies, and then we have pies that come in, like in the summer, we have our peach pie, right? We have, in the winter, we have like our mocha espresso, chocolate mocha espresso pie. We have our pumpkin pie that typically goes until the end of December, but they're always available. So the way we kind of work is we have a huge commissary kitchen at Kiel in Lawrence. It's about 17,000 square feet. Everything is made there. It's made, it's flash frozen, it's shrink wrapped, boxed, and then we ship it to the stores and they bake on site.
As tortas salgadas também se destacam-se e, segundo Cesário, são feitas com as melhores qualidades de carnes.
So savory pie is, it comes from, Scotland, England. It's where they, Australia, right? These are all meat pies, they call them. So currently we do 6 different meat pies, right? So, I mean, you're never expecting to have your best piece of short rib in a pie, right? Normally you go have a steak, you're thinking you're gonna have a steak at a steakhouse on a plate, right? With our pies, that's what you get. That's the experience.
Cesário aposta não só na coerência e a qualidade dos seus produtos, mas também na frescura, e garante aos seus clientes que todos os produtos vendidos no Sweetie Pie forem preparados no máximo 3 horas antes de serem vendidos.